Greetings everyone. My research work is about Alexander Hamilton, and I am going to concentrate on the figure of Alexander Hamilton as an immigrant. My interest in Hamilton stems from the musical by Lin-Manuel Miranda, who is Puerto Rican like me, but my interest is also because I can make a personal connection to the story of Alexander Hamilton because, like Hamilton, I am an immigrant of Caribbean origin. I want to clarify that I am aware of the discrepancies between the Hamilton musical and the real story of Alexander Hamilton. Therefore, my research is based on concrete evidence I found in Hamilton's writing and based on secondary sources of information. My research question is how the experiences of an immigrant like Hamilton helped him bring new political and economic perspectives that in turn helped him implement important innovations in the economy and politics of the newborn American nation. The research sources I consulted demonstrate that Alexander Hamilton was indeed born in the island of Nevis and had a childhood marked by abandonment and tragedy. His mother came from an English family of modest means and married Michael Lavigne on the island of St. Croix, a British colony in the Caribbean. Lavigne thought that Rachel's family was a wealthy family and used the marriage as a stepping stone to planter status. A year into their marriage, Lavigne accused Rachel of adultery, for which she was jailed. Upon leaving prison, Rachel fled to the island of Nevis, also a British island in the Caribbean. And it is there that she met James Hamilton, who was Hamilton's father. That relationship is considered illegal since the divorce process with Lavigne never materialized. All this information is important since in the political debates of the time, details of the life of the politicians used to tarnish their reputations by opponents. Alexander Hamilton's father was financially unsuccessful and abandoned his family, so Hamilton grew up without a father figure. On top of this, his mother died when Hamilton was 13 years old, leaving him and his brother destitute. A cousin took care of the Hamilton brothers but committed suicide. Then the Hamilton brothers went to live with an uncle, but he also died. And the Hamilton brothers found themselves penniless and totally helpless. And it was in that moment when Hamilton started to work with a merchant in the port of St. Croix. Hamilton as a child had no formal education, but working as a merchant exchanger gave him a broad perspective of how the mercantile economy worked. It also put him in contact from a very young age with important personalities of New York and other parts of the world. To his luck, a devastating hurricane destroys everything in its path on the island of St. Croix. In a letter that Alexander wrote to his father, he masterfully describes the passage of the hurricane and the damage it caused. It was that letter that helped him leave the Caribbean and come to New York to pursue formal studies, because the letter was published in the Royal Danish American Gazette, and a group of men undertook to sponsor Hamilton and support him for his studies in New York. Hamilton came to New York with a vast economic experience, and his studies at King's College, now Columbia University, reinforced Hamilton's knowledge. Before concluding his studies, Hamilton was immersed in the American Revolutionary process. Hamilton's mental agility, his great desire to improve himself, and his unmatched experience gave him an exceptional advantage that helped him position him as one of the key figures of the American Revolution and the time of the American Constitution. Hamilton had to overcome many obstacles in order to become one of the key figures in the founding of the United States. Though through his hard work, he scaled the unimaginable in order to position himself as one of the founding fathers of the United States. Although his personal circumstances as a young immigrant, poor and maternal orphan from a family of questionable reputation, seemed to be against him, the experiences learned to survive, the experiences that he learned, right, to survive, led him to make unparalleled contributions in the creation of an office of treasury. It is important to highlight the figure of Alexander Hamilton as an immigrant who helped shape the American nation in a historical moment in which immigrants in the United States, and I'm referring to now, in the United States face attitudes of rejection and contempt. Thank you.